been with my kid's dad for 20 years, on and off. The last 10 years have been the rockiest. Day before Thanksgiving, things got really bad. Thought he'd never actually physically hurt me again, because it happened back in 1998 after my third child was born. So that day, bad day, like I said, started from the morning, real bad. Grabbed me by my hair, banged me up, threw me against the wall, and actually got the courage to call the cops. And I called the police on him. They took him in and told me that he'd be out the next day in the morning. First thing I did was grab the phone, called my sister, hung up on her, and she called me back, and she was like, "What's wrong?" And I played it off, and she sent me a text that just made me break down and made me feel better. Then I Googled domestic violence shelters, because a younger sister many years ago, about 10 years ago, was in a shelter herself. And she had always told me. And I was like, no, I'll deal with it, but you learn to live with it. And that day was just a breaking point, because he terrified my children, our 3 younger children that are in the house. I have a total of 5, 2 adult children, and then my 3 younger ones. Just seeing the fear in their face clicked. It's not a lifestyle for them. Seeing the fear in my youngest daughter, who's 8, was just terrifying. She had never seen her daddy that way. So that triggered the light and said, no, this is it. And I called, and I still, should I? Like I said, I Googled it and called and hung up 3 times. And finally, I got a hold of one of the ladies at the shelter, and we talked. And it was Thanksgiving week. I had us somewhere safe for the weekend, but I didn't want to return on Monday. I didn't want to go back home. The kids were scared, and when I told them we were coming here, they had a million questions. So did I. We didn't know what life was here like. But coming here was one of the best things, not only for myself, but for my children. I'm getting the courage and the strength that I never thought I really had. Of course, I could give awesome advice to many people, but I would not take it myself till I found the strength here. Thought I had high self-esteem, but in reality, I didn't. I had many band-aids covering a lot of life situations, and I learned how to deal with it. 20 years of verbal abuse and, very verbal abuse. You learn how to put a lot of band-aids over it. And here I learned how to peel them off and heal. And this has been great for me and my kids. Art therapy has been awesome. I found myself crying a lot, because I'm not one who cries, but like I said, revealing the true, bringing down the walls actually has really helped and healed. I've done great here. I've had the courage and strength to move forward. I've always said I was going to go back to school, and I hadn't. There was always a reason why not to go back to school. I'm enrolled at BBC. I'm going to start working in February, and hopefully through work-study program I'll be there part-time, so that's awesome. I've also found a place to live, take my children and myself, safe environment near my family, and it's just making the first call, actually going through it, because like I said, I hung up 3 times. It was midnight when I finally decided this is not what I want, and I called and I talked to someone, and like I said, I was lucky because I had somewhere for the weekend to go, but that following Monday, what was I going to do? Where was I going to go? I didn't want to go back to that situation, because the lies were always there, and the promises, I'll promise I'll do this and I'll do that, and never followed through. So the overwhelming feeling of the relationship was still on my shoulders. And then what am I doing to my boys? What am I teaching them? How to tolerate, or let alone for them to become abusers like their dad? I didn't want that for my boys. They're excellent kids. I have one who wants to be an artist, another one who wants to be an athlete. So I don't want them to follow those steps. I remember my 14-year-old, when he graduated, was promoted from preschool to kindergarten, and he said, I want to be just like my daddy. Those are haunting words when daddy's not doing, being a good dad. I didn't want them to do that and follow those steps. So, it's just making the first phone call and saying, there is help. This place has helped us extremely. Knowing that they're getting the help they need, and the art therapy has been wonderful. Seeing their progress in life, and that, you don't have to continue living like that. You really, really don't. And like I said, it took me a long time until finally I said, enough is enough.